Good morning and welcome to ChampTalk. Today, we got some NFL mock draft coming up, and we got some guests on today. Very excited. For ChampTalk, I'm Brennan.
I'm Renzo Garone.
And then we got two lovely guests here today with us. Justice Brovero and Jase Fowler. Say what's up, guys.
What's up? How you doing,
up, man?
It's Justice's birthday today.
Birthday boy.
Get some big birthday wishes. Before we get into a little mock draft, we got some news and notes from around the league. I think the biggest thing we got to start off with is Steph Diggs to the Houston Texans.
Yep.
Has there been bigger news this offseason? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I mean, Stephon Diggs, there were rumors about it for so long, but I'm so happy they finally pulled it off. I've wanted Diggs somewhere else besides the Bills for so long, and I'm just happy he ends up with C.J. Stroud in Houston. I love that personally. I'm a big fan.
If you don't know, Diggs got traded for a second-round pick, and along with Diggs, 6th and a future 5th were shipped off. What are your guys' thoughts?
You want to lead it?
I feel like it's a good pickup for them. I mean, they have 3 number ones now, though, so I really don't know what they're going to do with that in that scenario. But I think it's they're trying to win. They went from a team that had 3 wins 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they made the playoffs this year, and now they're probably going to make a run again. So I feel like it's a good little idea for them.
I think it's a clear winner and loser of this trade. Houston is by far the winner. I mean, the Bills are left with nothing right now to wide receiver core.
I mean, I think the best part about the trade is you give C.J. Stroud even more options in an already dominant offense from last year. The biggest concern, as you said, Justice, is too many guys at this point, but each guy has their own clear spot. You can run both Tank Dell and Stefon Diggs out of the slot. I mean, it just makes too much sense for the Houston Texans, and this trade really just shows the Buffalo Bills are hitting the reset button a little with their cap, and they believe in their guy, Josh Allen. So,
I mean, C.J. Stroud also can sling the rock, so it's not like too many weapons. I don't think won't be that big of a problem for Houston.
No,
but
they're gonna throw, and they're gonna throw a lot, and they're gonna play a lot of offense and score a lot of points this year.
Yeah,
I really think C.J. Stroud is a great guy to go get in fantasy this year. I don't know if you could have a better situation than he does, and I wouldn't say Stefon Diggs is going to fall off too much this year in fantasy, just clear to the fact that he's really not – well, I'd say he's downgrading a little on from the quarterback perspective, but it's not too big of a fall off because of his usage last year.
Yeah, no, not even that much.
All right, so some other news. Jordan Mailata re-signed with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Is now the 4th highest paid tackle in the league. And then some random other players. Julian Blackmon re-signed, who we talked about 2 weeks ago on the pod. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire re-signed, who...
Oh, he re-signed?
Yes, who goes along perfectly with...
The Chiefs?
With the Chiefs, yes, which goes along perfectly with our Instagram post.
There you go.
Go check out the Instagram. And then another thing I wanted to talk about is Vikings OC suspended for 3 weeks over DUI.
I saw that.
In the middle of April.
Just got celebrated or something.
I mean, the guy wasn't working anyways, so what's the difference?
Yeah, I know. But, unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Last thing here, Rashee Rice, motor vehicle accident.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't have posted that video at the worst time, but...
What did they come out and say about that? I saw something come out and...
He admitted that it was him driving at the time. I think he did flee, which
doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't help at all.
It's gonna screw him over a little. But I think there's a clear path back where Henry Ruggs not as much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll be out for this year. Definitely a suspension coming his way at the least.
For sure.
But he's cooperating with the police and all that. So, I mean...
It's nothing Patrick Mahomes hasn't seen in the regular season. So.
I mean, you finally think you got 3 guys, and then you're back down.
Yeah.
So now let's get into the mock draft.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're going to do the first round, all 32 picks. What we're going to do is Renzo's going to have the first pick. Justice has the second.
Yep.
I have the third. And then Jase has the fourth. And what we're going to do is we're just going to keep going in that 4...
Yeah, that 4-man rotation.
4-man rotation, yeah, thanks. Thank you, Renzo. I was not.
Numbers aren't our best.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Can I kick us off? Can I kick us off?
Kick us off, Renzo.
All right, so, I mean, number 1 pick, Chicago Bears. it's been pretty clear cut for the past couple months. I mean, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, not much to say. We all know it's going to happen. If the Bears don't take Caleb, they're doing something wrong, but I don't think that'll be the case. I mean, he's the best QB in this class by a long shot. There are still other talented quarterbacks in this class, but like Caleb Williams is just in a class of his own, I feel like. Between his pocket presence, IQ, the ball accuracy, playmaking, I feel like it's a no-brainer here with Caleb Williams. So it's the Chicago Bears. Take Caleb Williams, number 1 overall.
Yeah,
That's what I got.
Nobody else throws the football like him in the league or in the draft, and he's just a clear-cut number 1.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody expected, and that's what we got from Renzo at the 101. So
No surprises here.
okay, let's move over to Justice with the 2nd overall pick.
Another pick that it was kind of, I feel like it's not even a question. I'm going to go Drake May. I feel like they're going to pick Drake May. Jaden Daniels is also on the board, but I feel like they're suited more for Drake May. I feel like Jaden Daniels is kind of like an RG3, and you see how that went with them. RG3 kind of screwed them over, but I think it's going to be Drake May, and I think he's going to suit really well with that team.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly where he's the guy who fits the build of the team the best. And I had him as my 202. I said in recent weeks, Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback, better prospect out of college, but I think Drake May makes too much sense not to go with
I
there.
like Drake May too. I have nothing against him.
At number 3, I mean, it's clear and obvious what the Patriots need. It's a quarterback or maybe some offensive weapons, but we're going to go with a quarterback, Jaden Daniels. I just talked about him a little. I love Jaden Daniels. He's his frame is a little bit questionable, and I really do think he's like an RG3, but if he can learn to play within his bounds, slide, make sure he doesn't get hurt, he has a better arm, I think he's more consistent and accurate than Drake May, and I love his feet. He has very calm feet, as I said.
Yeah, you love talking about those feet.
As I said in the past, dude, it's a great tell of who's a good quarterback. He has very calm feet, so I think Jaden Daniels is the guy to go with for the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think it's a deep quarterback class, but I think these 3 really separate themselves from the others.
All right, with the 4th pick, I got the Minnesota Vikings trading up to take the 4th pick, giving up the 11th and 23rd pick to take J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan.
Yeah, me and sorry to tell you. Me and Jase talked a little about this one off the scene. We thought this was happening regardless, so made the trade happen. Jase is picking for the Vikings now, so.
I'm a huge J.J. McCarthy fan.
Really?
God.
Huge Michigan guy.
I'm not really big.
He's young. He's talented. He was 27-1 as a starter. Yeah. I think this is a great pick for the Vikings. They have a young receiving core. They have a young overall team. There's going to be some growing pains, but he can be there for the long run.
I feel like he could be good. He just didn't show anything at Michigan because all they did was run the ball.
Look at 2 years ago, the Ohio State game. He threw for 350 yards and 4 touchdown passes.
But that was 2 years ago, man. That was 2 years ago.
What I'm scared about with J.J. McCarthy is mainly the fact that he's almost like it feels like an Alabama quarterback situation where he has so much talent around him, has the best offensive line, has the best run game, and you didn't see what he really could do or what he really needed to do all the time. Like he didn't really have to go win him that many games. He kind of played ahead most of the time. So that's my biggest concern. But I really see Minnesota trading up here and taking that pick.
Yeah, I just don't see him being worth a 4th round of number 4 pick.
I agree. I think it's just like Zach Wilson where it's like
even Daniel Jones. Same thing with
Daniel Jones. It's just pick. You're reaching because you need a quarterback. I mean, Jase is shaking his head.
I'm not saying he's bad here, but I feel like he's just not worth like a top 10 pick. Like I could see him like
his potential is worth a top 10 pick.
I get that. I get that.
Maybe, and we might be wrong. You never know.
Nowadays, everybody reaches for the
You
potential.
never know, but I get it. No, I get it.
He's got good feet. He can extend plays. He's
Love
a
it.
good overall player.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Love the feet talk.
All right, so with the number 5, the LA Chargers, we're going to switch off quarterback here. I am taking Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel like this guy, maybe not the clear-cut one. Some people say Malik Neighbors. Some people say some other names in there. But I'm a big Marvin Harrison Jr. guy. My player comp to the NFL from Marvin, I see a lot of CeeDee Lamb in him. I'm not saying he might be the best or might be ever get there, but right now I feel like he has the potential, the ceiling of CeeDee Lamb, and maybe even more. Who knows? I mean, this guy catches everything you throw at him. His frame, he catches contested balls. He's got the speed. He's got the release. He runs routes crisp. Like, how can you not want to draft this guy? Plus, the Chargers just lost like every single weapon on their offense outside of Justin Herbert. So you have Herbert throwing the ball back there. The only thing the other might need is O-line. I considered taking O-line here because to protect, but I mean, I'd rather have Marvin there making plays with Herbert and maybe take an O-line later on just because this is such a deep O-line class. But it's a deep wide receiver class as well. But I'm going to stick with Marvin Harrison Jr. here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that pick. I mean, he's by far the most talented, not by far the most talented receiver in the draft, but he clears out. He's probably one of the more talented wide receivers since Jamar Chase. I mean, that's only a couple of years ago, but he's in that class of like elite wide receivers. And wide receivers are just almost as important as quarterbacks nowadays, what teams want to get.
Such a throwing league nowadays.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I feel like you can't leave, like, in this point, you need to pick the best player left on the board.
Agreed.
And that's who is Marvin Harrison for them. So
Yeah.
I feel like them picking him is just an automatic. They have to take him.
Yeah, and it fits a need.
Yeah.
Just to go back and clarify before we get to Justice's 6th overall pick, both the 11th pick and the 23rd pick is traded from the Vikings to the Cardinals. I don't know if we said that earlier.
I don't
Okay.
think we
I
did.
brought it up.
Oh, you did?
Okay.
Okay.
briefly.
Yeah,
Thank you
I didn't
clarifying.
I know you said they trade their futures, but I didn't know if you said the exact picks. I just wanted to throw that on top.
So for the 6th pick, I am a Giants fan. I will put that out there, sadly. But I feel like they're going to go Neighbors if he's left on the board. He's just too good of a wide receiver, and they need a wide receiver really bad. And everyone's saying they need a quarterback, but I feel like they got the O-line. Daniel Jones, if he can stay healthy, I feel like he can do something. He hasn't had a wide receiver one since he's been in the league. So giving him Malik Neighbors is that one that he needs, and I feel like he can just take that and go somewhere with it.
Do you think Neighbors is the clear 2 in this draft, or do you think Odunze?
I think.
I know you think Neighbors because you drafted him.
Yeah, I think he
Odunze,
is
but-
a clear 2. I put him up there with Harrison, and that's just me. But I watched him play at LSU, and I thought he was really good. I think Odunze is really good too, but Neighbors is just up there. I mean, he put up over how many yards? I forget what it was. Like
I can't remember, but it was insane.
it was stupid amount of numbers.
And
so.
The thing always goes back to these LSU receivers are almost never a bust.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
They're always really good, highly efficient, and I mean every year they're making plays, and there seems to be a new one. And this is a really deep wide receiver draft, but these top 3, man, they're different.
Real quick, Neighbors, he pulled in 1569 receiving yards, like 17.6 per 17.6 yards per reception.
That's
This dude's just a monster.
Yeah, that's just absurd.
What's his how many receptions and touchdowns did he get?
14 receiving touchdowns, 189 career receptions. So this guy is just a catching machine. This guy just always catches the ball. I mean, he's just a monster.
Okay, so back to me for the 7th overall pick. I got the Tennessee Titans, and I feel like this is where the draft starts to get a little complicated. Where it starts going, who are they going to draft? But I'm taking Joe Alt.
Yeah.
I think he is the best offensive tackle prospect in this draft. He's a great player, just to start that off. I mean, he just had an insane year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and the Tennessee Titans they need to reinforce their O-line. I almost went with Odunze because they don't got a lot of threats out there to help out their quarterback.
Can't
But
throw the ball.
I think protecting your quarterback's blind spot is the biggest and most important thing to do in football.
Don't they have Ridley and D-Hop?
Yeah, they just
I was
signed
just-
Ridley.
They
yeah.
just got Ridley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got weapons on the
Yeah, I was
outside.
just
now.
gonna
You
say.
can't throw
They
the
got
ball
targets.
unless you have someone to protect. So I feel like
Yeah.
at that point, you're just
No,
putting
yeah, I
too
get
much.
it too.
I definitely think Joe Alt is the right pick here.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys where it's almost hard to see him miss
Yeah.
or flop.
Yep.
Like, he's not like some of these other ones who are like unrefined. He is great. He's a very controlled player, and he did not get beat much. He's a great pass protector, and he can also get out there and run.
And he's
run block.
consistent. He's consistent too.
Yeah. So I think that's the right pick there. And yeah, so over to the 8th pick.
With the 8th pick, I have the Atlanta Falcons going on the defensive side of the ball. As you all know,
First defensive player picked.
they loaded up their offense this
Yeah, they
offseason.
did. A lot of
Kirk
weapons.
Cousins,
Good for them.
bringing in weapons for him. I'm going with Jared Verse from Florida State.
Really?
DN. He's lanky. He's explosive. He's violent. He hit 98 pressures last year
Wow.
for the most
Okay.
in the nation.
Okay.
This dude is a dog, and he will get after it. And that's an aging defense with a solid DB room with Jesse Bates and A.J. Terrell.
Yeah.
I think they need to get a little younger up front. I think he's the answer.
What I really like about Jared Verse is he's very versatile. Like he's huge. He's thick and powerful. And he's able to get to the ball from all different angles. He can rush the edge. He can
Put him
set
inside and out.
he can set the tempo for the run block, and he can also get to the middle and use his size and ability to beat guards. Like, so I think he's a little bit more of an edge rusher, or a little more hybrid than just an edge rusher. I feel like that's underselling him, but I definitely think that nailed it right on the head of what the Falcons should get. I had Dallas Turner above him, the kid from Alabama.
So did I. I'm not gonna lie.
Just because of age.
Yeah.
Jared Verse. Is he older? He's older, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's an older
Yes.
player. So, but I think it fits what they're doing. They want to win now.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
not
got
a
a
bad
great
pick.
offense to do so.
Yeah. Still a great pick.
So that wraps up our first 8 picks. Any comments? I feel like the first 6, it's kind of hard because you know what you're gonna get. You knew you were gonna get at least 3 quarterbacks. You know the first 2 wide receivers were going off the board, and you know the O tackle's probably going off the board. So, I mean,
I think there's just so much talent. Like, even now, these first 8 guys are taken off the board. I still feel like there's so much talent left. Like, sometimes
there's a lot of talent.
Sometimes I feel like in past drafts, like the top guys are taken and there's just a huge fall off. But like, there's still so much talent left in this
you got so
draft.
many wide receivers.
Yeah.
You got Bo Nix. You got Michael Penix. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, quarterbacks all
this
over.
draft
A
is
ton of
deep.
O line too.
Yeah,
they are
ton of
exactly.
O line.
Oh, yeah.
Cornerbacks, we haven't even touched the
Yeah,
quarterback. and they are
there's so
stacked,
much
too.
here in every position. It's great.
to me, the craziest part about this draft is it's every position that's desired by most teams. Like, you need a great offensive tackle. You need a great wide receiver. You need a great quarterback. Those 3 positions are loaded this year.
A lot. You can get a lot of
Playmakers are
different guys.
loaded.
A lot of different guys.
And then you also have some great edge rushers who are like the up-and-coming thing.
Yeah.
And you also got some corners in here who can play too. It's a loaded draft. And I mean, we're going to have fun with the rest of this draft here. We're going to go to break, enjoy a little song, and we'll be right back.
And we're back. ChampTalk. Here we go, baby. I got the 9. I'm here with the Bears. This is a hard pick for me. I don't know if I want to go defense here or offense. I think I'm going to go offense. I'm going to go Rome Odunze. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Wide receiver from Washington. I'm putting him into possibly one of the best wide receiver trios in the league right now, behind DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and adding Rome Odunze there. I think it's very similar to the Jackson Smith and Jigba situation last year with Tyler Lockett and DK in front of him. This time he's going to have Caleb Williams on the ball, a rookie quarterback. So it might be a little different, but I feel like they can have a good connection, especially with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore still there. I mean, Rome Odunze, he's 6'3", 212. He ran a 4.45 40-yard dash, which is, sick. He's got great body control. He creates such good separation. He's got strong, reliable hands, and he's great at catching contested throws. This guy is another great receiver. I really love him, and I think he's going to fit in great with the Bears offense.
See, I'm a little surprised with this pick.
Yeah.
We like offense
I
here.
had to throw some spice in there.
We're fantasy football. We're fantasy football players at heart.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting another weapon for the Bears.
Yeah.
Talk about loading up Caleb Williams to put him in a great situation and then just make sure all the pieces of the puzzle are right. But I was honestly expecting an edge rusher there.
I thought they were gonna go edge too. I feel like that's what they're
I
gonna
love
do.
the pick. I love it.
At the end of the day, you can't go wrong with it. You can't go wrong with getting one of the best players in the draft.
My other guy was Laiatu Latu. That was my other guy. I'm probably botching that like crazy, but I mean, that's my best go.
Just say his last name.
Yeah, Latu, the edge out of UCLA. He was my other guy that I was going to go with, but I decided to stick with Romeo Dunze from Washington. I think he's just an absolute baller.
Nah, either one of those picks would have been good.
Yeah.
Who's up now?
I got
New York
the 10th.
Jets.
Yeah, I got the 10th with the Jets, and I feel like it's going to be Brock Bowers for them.
Yeah.
They need a tight end. Conklin's good. I just don't think he's that tight end that they need. They have Garrett Wilson. Who else do they have? They have the guy from Green Bay, right, who's still out there?
Lazard.
Lazard.
yeah.
he's still-
They got 3-year-old guys. They
Yeah,
got
I mean,
they got Mike Williams too. Did you say him?
Oh, yeah. I
yeah,
forgot
they
about that.
did pick him up. I forgot about that. But I feel like they also don't really need anything on defense. Their defense is already
defense
pretty
is
stacked.
really
I mean,
good.
Yeah, it's gross.
last
And they
year-
just they added more too.
Yeah, and I feel like last year everyone's like, oh, their defense was getting killed. But when you're on the field for probably 45 minutes worth of the game, you're going to lose that much. So it is what it is. But I feel like Brock Bowers is a really good receiving tight end. And I feel like he's
so
also
solid.
a great blocking tight end as well.
He's
Yeah.
so solid.
His blocking is very underrated.
Yeah.
He gives me off very George Kittle vibes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he really has the ability to be that next really good tight end. Like I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be great. And if he had Aaron Rodgers thrown in the ball the first year,
Oh, my
Yeah,
God,
jeez.
yeah.
It's going to be great.
The first time I saw him, I thought he was a receiver, honestly. Like, he looks like a receiver to me.
he's
Just
smaller.
for a
But-
tight end, he
But
just
he
looks
can
like
still
a bit of a...
block. It's
Oh,
crazy
no, yeah, I
that
know.
he's
He
able
still
to
is
block
amazing
at
at
that
blocking.
size. He kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of a little bit of George Kittle. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, you look at George Kittle, he's big, but he's not that big guy that you usually see on most teams.
Mm-hmm.
He's in one of those new eras of tight ends, like the Sam
Yeah.
Laportas, the Travis Kelce's. They move like wide receivers now.
Yeah.
But
it's
he can
phenomenal.
block,
It's
like,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce can't block. We all know that. So, but
When
he
he,
can actually
when he
block.
needs to, he can get down and dirty.
So with the 11th pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Dallas Turner. I can't believe I'm honestly surprised he fell that far. If Romeo Dunze got to me, I would have picked him. If he fell to me, I would have picked him. But I think it's between two guys very easily. I thought it was between him and Terry and Arnold. They need to reinforce their defense. They have one of the worst defenses in the league. So adding an edge rusher I feel like it was the obvious choice. I feel like corner was right there too, but I think there's more depth down the board at corner where they'll go corner later. So yeah, I went with Dallas Turner. I think he looks really good. He's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
He could do it all. He has a great frame. He has like that prototypical frame you want from your edge rusher, and he keeps hustling after the ball, really high motor, and does good job with both pass rush and run game.
Yeah,
So-
I know. He's very dominant. I feel like he's always getting in there. He's always messing something up with the offense. Whenever Bama made a play, I feel like he was always involved somehow, some way. Even if it's just kind of like a supporting role, he was still in the midst of it, and he's a big playmaker, and I think that's a great pick.
The crazy, like he did 3 really good years at Bama too.
Yeah.
Like he put in 3 years at Bama where he was the number 1 edge rusher, and he did it good all 3 years. So I thought that was a good pick there. I think I almost went Arnold. I think they're very close, but I decided to go Turner.
The 12th pick for the Denver Broncos, I am going to Ron Arnold. Instead of a quarterback, they need help on the defensive side. His pro comparison is Jase Horn. Just, he's an all-pro corner. He's long. He's rangy. I think he's perfect opposite of Patrick Surtain.
He's such a beast.
And they need help on that side of the ball bad.
For sure.
I think if there was a better quarterback left at this point in the draft, but I don't know if I'm a Bo Nix or a
He's too old. I feel like he's getting old. He's getting up there.
They're
I
not-
don't know if
Yeah.
it's worth a Bo
Nix?
Nix. I don't think it's worth a reach.
Penix
especially
and
Penix
Nix
too.
are
I think
not first-round pick material. You can get them in the second.
no, I think they're both second rounders. Maybe a late first for
Yeah.
Penix, just because what he can do athletically.
He took a team to the championship.
Yeah,
so.
I think Penix is a guy who could sneak into the back first. But they want a quarterback, but unless they trade up into the top 4, they're not going to get one.
No.
Even though I don't think JJ McCarthy is an overly top half of the first, I think he's going to be taken there. So just based off desperation. So
Jase,
yeah,
you just
I
took,
like the
you
pick
just took
though.
Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Arnold.
I
Just
also
make sure.
don't like Penix. He is 25. I look at Penix as a Hendon Hooker type.
Hendon Hooker,
He
yeah.
could drop to the 4th round.
But I think he's much more talented than Hendon Hooker. That's the only difference. I think his 40 times ridiculous.
He's going to be a
He's
sleeper.
much faster
He's
than
going to
I
be a
thought.
sleeper second. I feel like he could do something in the NFL. It
Yeah.
just has to go to the right team.
Yeah.
His accuracy is a little absurd.
And his
like some of
strength,
the pocket,
he can
some
throw
of
that
the
ball.
pockets he fits the ball into. So I think that's definitely. He'll definitely be a guy who makes his way into something. I just definitely think he needs a year or two to set.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick though overall.
Yeah.
All right, so pick number 13, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm gonna take Quinion Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. 6 foot, 195 pounds. He ran a 4.33 40. This guy has some natural physicality to him. I love the way he plays. He's nimble, agile. That helps in the change of direction with routes. Jeez. Outstanding bursts, close for quick recovery and playmaking, and he's got great field vision. I think this is a corner that they need. I thought about taking quarterback here. I thought about taking Bo Nix or Penix, but like you guys just said, like I think they're gonna fall. I don't think anyone really needs them right now. I think you can get them in the second. So with that, I'm taking a corner because I really can't name any corners on the Raiders right now, like any all-star corners.
Yeah.
Like they need something in that, and I feel like that's what they need. Like who's on their D line right now? Like I don't even.
Max Crosby.
Yeah, Max
They just signed
and
Christian
Christian
Wilkins.
Yeah.
They got a
Christian
very
Wilkins is
solid D line.
disgusting,
So I feel like they need to start improving that secondary a little bit, and I feel like
Yeah.
that starts with
They could
Quinion Mitchell.
And I think the thing is, maybe they reach on Penix here, but at the same time, I think you're in a decent situation with Minshew and I'm blanking on the kid's name.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, O'Connell.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
feel like
Was a
Minshew
dog
also
at
took
Purdue.
Minshew just took a Colts team that had like they
No,
were-
I
think
definitely.
they're-
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're gonna.
He's a
have to
very
go.
good bridge year quarterback.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the reason why I kind of backed off taking Bo Nix or Penix here.
Because I think with Minshew, I think Minshew's one of the most underrated guys and underutilized guys where I think he could have been a starter. He had a great first year in Jacksonville, and he keeps showing that he can play. Where if you have Minshew as your starter for 2 years, you're not going to be bad, especially if you keep reinforcing this defense.
Yeah. I think if you give him the weapons and everything around
Exactly.
him, he'll be good.
And
Yeah.
he has weapons right now. I mean, they need to, I think they are going to need to draft a running back. And this running back, I think, got some good guys deep
Yeah.
later in the draft. But just to go back to Mitchell real quick, this is a note I saw. I think this shows a lot about the guy. He has exceptional ball skills, 5 interceptions, including a pair of pick sixes in 2022, but he wasn't challenged very often in 2023. I think not being challenged is one of the most telling signs that a cornerback can have.
Yeah, it's a
that
huge
you're
compliment.
just
Yeah.
dominant
Yeah.
where you
Yeah, for
play.
sure.
Just don't throw it his way. Like that's what you're saying.
No. So we're off to the 14th pick.
Same thing. Like he went. I don't think they're gonna go quarterback here.
I don't think so either.
I have them going the tackle from Penn State. I don't
Yeah.
want to say his name because I just think I'm gonna butcher
Fashanu?
that. Yeah, but he's just a huge freak. He's Big Ten All Team. Right here it says 0 sacks allowed on
Yeah.
697 snaps.
Yeah,
in the
that's
Big
crazy.
Ten, that's
Dog.
crazy.
That's nuts.
Because you're playing Ohio State, who has all these great pass rushers.
Mhm.
You got Michigan, who's great. I mean, it's just not letting up a single sack is absurd. So,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
a crazy
You
stat.
can't give that up. But I feel
No,
like
not at all.
they have Derek Carr, right? It's their quarterback. I mean, he's not horrible.
He
but-
sucks.
all right, sure. But I feel like you can get another year out of him, and maybe if you can see Penix or Bo Nix later in the draft, but again, not worth the 14th pick. I feel like you got to go someone more important to your team. So
I feel like the O tackle position this year is one of the weirdest positions in the draft, just because there's about 6 guys who are all just kind of floating, except Joel. I think he cleared above the rest of
Yeah.
them right now.
Yeah.
But the next tier of like 5 guys, all very talented, but unique in why they're going higher than each other. I don't know. I like that. I think Fashanu is a really good player, and if he can clean up the little details, he'll be a great offensive tackle. But I don't really think you're missing with that many of the offensive tackles this year.
No.
I think maybe 1 or 2 of them bust, but I think at worst they're all middle of the pack offensive tackles. So I think that's a great pick.
They're easy to develop too. They're not guys that are like just horrible offensive tackles.
Oh,
that you're
yeah.
gonna have to work on a lot. I feel like they're already stable enough to where you can just work on them, and they're gonna figure it out at some point.
Yeah, I think all these guys in this Z's popping his head in and waving, and
Distracting us.
each one of them have their own like something that they're good at, and I think all of them, none of them are really a project O tackle like you were saying, Justice. All of them really got solid foundations and have something they're really good at that you can just build from here. So for the 15th overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts select Lado. I feel like that was a decent try. No.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
I
good.
think the
It's
last
better than
name was
mine.
good. The first
Yeah,
name
it's better than my try.
But
Most of the guys here I really had got taken, and I was thinking about Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver out of LSU. Just looks like a guy who has great jump ball ability, who's really talented. I think the Colts got enough offensively that I'd rather keep shoring up that edge and making that defense dominant. I think Anthony Richards going to run the ball a lot, and you're going to run the ball a lot with a team. So I almost went offensive tackle, but I think they still got some really good offensive tackles. But there's still some really good offensive tackles down the board that I think are going to be taken in lump sum right here.
Yeah, I mean, I like that pick. He's so dominant too. I mean, he's always on the line. He's always making plays. And like you said, you almost took Brian Thompson Jr. I think Anthony Richardson is good. You know, you got Jonathan Taylor back there too. But Pittman as your one, I feel like that's I feel like that's solidified. I mean, they just re-signed him. I think that's great. And then you have Josh Downs there and Alec Pierce. Like, these guys are good. Like, these guys, I feel like maybe you can wait a little bit on the receiver on such a deep receiver class. I feel like you could wait a little bit longer.
I agree. I think there's so many wide receivers that if they wait till the second round, I think there's going to be a huge run of wide receivers at the end of this first, early second.
Yeah.
But they're a team that I think they have two really good receivers right now. They got both Pittman and Downs, and you can find, I think they have another one.
Alec Pierce.
I love Pierce.
Yeah.
I think he's...
Yeah.
I think he'll be another good guy for them. So I don't really think they need a wide receiver, even though that's listed as one of their top team needs. But I think Ladu's the right pick here, especially with how far he dropped.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I forgot about him.
With the 16th pick, I have the Seattle Seahawks taking Amarius Mims, a tackle from Georgia. This dude is, for career, 377 career pass blocking snaps, 0 sacks allowed. He's big. He's physical. Now, the only problem with he did have some injuries in college, so he did have some limited action early on. But honestly, Seattle, they have all the weapons. They need to shore up their line. Defense is good. They have corners. They have safeties. Wide receivers, they have everybody you need at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker's a dog. Let's get Geno some time to get the ball out. I think Seattle can do some big things.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, and Seattle has been, they're kind of been struggling with their offensive line over the last couple of years. And last year they had a much, Jase, you're shaking. Like before last year. Last year they had a really good year.
I'm saying
You're
they've
saying,
been struggling for a while.
Yeah, they've been struggling for the last couple. Last year they kind of rebounded, but I think getting a guy like Mims really is just humongous. Have you ever seen the guy?
He's a mountain of a man.
Mountain. He if he could stay healthy and figure out those injury things, I think he's a great pick here. But I think some of the other guys might have fit the Seahawks a little better in terms of getting them a guy who could play inside too. I feel like I think it's Fuaga.
Yeah.
Fuaga can play inside and out. Let me check. Yeah, Fuaga can slide inside and out. So I thought you were gonna go with him this pick, but I don't hate the Mims pick. He's one of those guys. He just is humongous and might have the talent to do that.
All right, so pick number 17. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not gonna lie, you totally just nipped my pick there. I kind of wanted him, but with that O-line gone, I'm gonna take Cooper DeJean. Am I saying that right? The last name right? DeJean?
DeJean? I don't know.
Is it DeJean?
DeJean.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah,
sick,
it's
actually.
DeJean.
That sounds a lot better. That's way better than what I said. The corner / safety out of Iowa. This kid's a dog. I love watching this kid play. He's so aggressive. They need that outside cornerback that they haven't had since Ramsey. They kind of need, once again, I'm taking corner, but with the new signing of Darnell Savage, like, they might need a starting safety as well. So, I mean, I kind of love them. I kind of love Cooper on the outside. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to be a big playmaker for the Jags.
I think he has the potential to play both corner and safety very well, and could be one of those guys who lines up all around your formation. He can play slot, he can play outside,
Yeah.
he can play safety. I think at the end of the day, he might be like a Devin McCourty who starts at corner, but due to his lack of like being able to flip his hips and really run with guys downfield, apparently he gets a little handsy when he gets downfield because he can't keep up. I mean, figures, white corner. But I think he'll have a very good career, and I think that would be a good pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. With the 18th pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, I have them taking Byron Murphy the second. I feel like they right here it says they need a tight end.
I love that pick.
Yeah, I feel like that defensive line needs something. Who do they have right now? Who's really good? What's his name? Hendricks. Yeah, I feel
Is
like
that his name?
He's so underrated.
Yeah, I feel like pairing them together, it's just gonna be those two are gonna disrupt a lot of offensives. I feel like they have the offensive threats. They don't need really anything on the offense. Maybe a tackle, but they just signed. Who did they sign? That guy that they had before. What was his name? Cody something. He was really good. They just re-signed
Davis.
something like that.
I can't remember his name.
I just see him on TikTok sometimes. That's the only reason I know about him. But they re-signed him, so I feel like their offensive line is already good enough. I feel like they just need to bump up that defense. And
I agree. I love this pick here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. I also botched the name. It's not Hendricks. It's Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Hendrickson.
Okay.
Hendrickson.
Trey?
Worth a try. It's worth a try. Worth a
Yeah.
try.
I was close.
This pick is also, it's huge for them. They just lost DJ Reader in free agency.
Yeah,
They
that's the
needed
guy.
to fill this D tackle spot. And Byron Murphy is he's
He's a force.
He's
He is.
6'2", 305 pounds. So that's
Yeah.
just a big guy.
I think he's definitely the number one D tackle in this draft.
oh yeah.
I think he's better than Johnny Newton out of Illinois, who's the next guy up.
Yeah.
And says here explosive, nimble, and instinctive. I really wanted him for the LA Rams with my next pick because I think he is the next like prototype of Aaron Donald. Maybe like I'm not comparing him, like I'm not saying he will be, but I'm saying that's the type of player he is
They have
where he
him-
could be great.
They have him compared to Javon Hargrave, is what they're saying.
Yeah, that's a
there.
great
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah, I
I
like
feel
that.
he's running a 4.8 40.
Yeah,
which
it's
is absurd for
His
a
motor
defensive
is
tackle. Like,
insane.
that's
He
not
flies-
normal.
He flies around the football field.
That's
It's
not normal
insane.
for
Yeah, that's good.
What the guys are running around today at their combine pro day is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't buy into pro days all the time. I think they're an added measurement, but holy crap!
Yeah,
these
the
big
fact that he's
dudes
still running
can
it.
move.
Yeah, they're learning how to
you
run.
got
and it's
offensive
scary.
linemen running sub fives. It's like, why are you doing that? That makes no sense.
It gets scary after a while. You're like, wow, this should not be happening.
So, with the LA Rams pick, I was going to go Murphy. I was going to go corner here. I was going to look down the board to Nate Wiggins. But, I mean, I think more O tackles will be taken higher in the actual draft. But with these guys available right now, I think you got to take one of them. I think Fuaga out of Oregon State is the clear pick. He's a great guy to reinforce that offensive line. I think Stafford, you got to keep him healthy, and that's what's most important. He's rated on some boards as the number 2 offensive tackle. He has great size, power, and balance. He plays right, but really they said he's a 5. He can play all 5 spots on the offensive line,
I like that.
which I think is great for the Rams because they typically struggle with injuries. I think this is a great pick here for the Rams. I think they wishes he fell this far down the board. Maybe not the actual draft. I don't know if he actually will, but I think we've done a decent job so far.
I think
actually,
we're pretty accurate so far.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we're pretty
Sorry,
good.
can you repeat that last name?
Fuaga.
Stole my pick. Right in front of me.
Yeah.
The Steelers pick at number 20. I actually have him picking a O tackle as well. Graham Barton from Duke. He's big. He's explosive.
The guard.
Good footwork.
O tackle. He plays inside or out.
Oh, okay.
He can literally play anywhere on the line.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
going
I like
back
that
to
pick.
your pick. That's crazy. If you could play every position on the line.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
said
just like-
he's that
it's
versatile.
like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's
You
nuts.
can't find that. It's crazy.
Not many guys can do that.
Barton's got light feet, works his angles and leverages. I don't know. He was big when Duke was on a run earlier this year. I like him.
I like him too.
I think he's
like
gonna
him
be a
too.
good fit for the Steelers.
I think he's aggressive, and I think he plays hard, and I think that's so important for the O-line. And see, what's
And
he picking for?
Miami.
State.
Oh, real quick.
Steelers. Yeah, they do
Steelers.
need
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna run the ball.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Steelers need offensive linemen
for sure.
tremendously, and he can move inside and out. Where I feel like this is a good pick here. Like he's a great offensive guard. That's where he played a lot in college, but he also played a lot of tackle. So I think this is a good pick here for the
I feel like
Steelers. It makes too much sense
the
not
only
to.
other thing they could take here, I feel like, is a cornerback because they don't need wide receivers. It says here quarterback, but I mean they just picked up 2.
I mean, they
Yeah, they
got
don't
they
need
got
a
2 guys for
Yeah.
the
I feel
future.
like
Yeah.
maybe a cornerback would be good for them, but I mean, still,
Yeah.
make that offensive line better, and it's gonna take you places. So
Question is, before we get to the next pick, when are we going to see some reaches, guys?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like this draft is you got those top guys. I feel like there's a top 19 about with some of
roughly.
these. What?
I said yeah, roughly around there.
Like 18, sorry. I don't know why I said 19. I just saw it on here. You got about a top 18 that are like very talented, kind of clear themselves from the rest of the pack. But now it gets interesting, guys. So
I'm starting us off with the Dolphins, the 21st pick. I'm sticking with that O-line. I'm not going to lie to you.
Wow.
I'm sticking with the O-line, interior O-line. I'm taking Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. This guy is 6'3", 328 pounds. He's
Great
just an
pick.
absolute monster. Broad chest, thick hips. He's got meaty hands, man. Meaty hands.
this is 98.5 WNUW LP Aston. Just got to throw that out there.
Like I said, meaty hands. Heavy hands can hammer the A gap when needed to keep the quarterback safe. He doesn't overreact or lunge, so he's not biting on these first jab steps or moves. He keeps to himself, not to himself, but he plays to himself, and he knows what he needs to do, and he gets his job done. And I feel like that's so important for the O lineman. Keeping that quarterback safe is arguably one of the most important jobs in the league. So I'm taking Jackson Powers Johnson here at 21 from Oregon.
I think this is a great pick for the Dolphins, who I never really thought they had that good of offensive linemen, and they just lost their best one to Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think this makes too much sense. He's a 21-year-old too, which a lot of these guys kind of seem older in this draft, but he's a big guy, and he can do it all. He's a great pass blocker. Kind of inconsistent run blocking, but yeah, great pick.
I still like him there. Plus,
Yeah,
the
I do
Dolphins are
too.
going to be slinging that ball still with Tyreek there. I mean, obviously they're going to be running with A-Chain and Mostert there too. But I mean,
you need a center to run the ball too.
Yeah.
So
they still have Aaron Brewer, I think it is. I think
Yeah.
he's still there.
Yeah.
So to help him out, but
I mean, I feel like on the defensive side, they're still would they lose Christian Wilkins? That's about it. You still got Jalen Ramsey. Is it Howard left, right? Or did he leave too?
Xavier Howard's gone. He's
Yeah, he's
Okay.
gone.
So
They got some guys.
yeah,
they
but
got the pass rushers. I
Yeah.
mean,
He does a
Um,
great job.
I
getting
think
to the
I think we
second
see a bit
Yeah.
of regression.
level. On linebackers.
Yeah.
Bit of regression from the Dolphins, but at the same time, they need to reinforce their offensive line more than anything. Make sure Tua doesn't get hurt again.
I'm still not bought on Tua. I think
I'm not
he's-
either. I don't think Tua's that good.
no, I've never been bought on Tua. No disrespect, but
He's
All
great.
disrespect.
He's great for the system, but
I feel like once it goes out, and I think
I don't
Mike
think
McDaniels is like a mastermind, but I also don't think he's like the greatest coach everyone pings him out to be. I feel like with that type of team,
offensively, I
Yeah.
think he's great
yeah.
as like a coordinator type guy.
I just think he needs
Yes.
I think they think a better quarterback for them would make them like above all teams.
Yeah.
I think everyone says Tua's got the arm strength, but it's just because it's Tyreek there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
you see the routes Tyreek has to run.
Yeah,
He's
the
running
throws him
down. He's
every
running the go
time.
route, and then he has to stop and run backwards
Yeah,
and then
I mean,
catch it.
some
and then
of some
beat
of
his
his
man.
throws, like Tyreek's making weird, like he's looking one way over the shoulder, and then he's got to move to the other
Yeah.
shoulder. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
and
you just
Tyreek-
throw the ball.
yeah.
and Tyreek Hill's that good.
Tyreek's nice about it. He tries to cover up for Tua sometimes. I get it. It's your quarterback. That's your guy. But like, come on, man.
Tyreek would have had about 5 more touchdowns if Tua could throw the ball more
Yeah,
than 40
absolutely.
yards in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just go back to the legal ID. I just get so excited doing this show. Sometimes I forget. We're actually going to take a break right here, give you a little song, and then we'll be right back. So thank you for listening to Champ Talk. You're listening to 98.5 WNUW. .5 WNUW. We got about the last 10 picks of our mock draft.
Yep. Yep.
We ended off with the 22nd pick, the Eagles. Before I get into that, we got a lot of talent left on the board here.
Still,
Yes, we do.
so much.
Wide receivers was another thing. We haven't picked
I know,
a wide receiver in a while.
I'm surprised.
A lot of O-line, I think.
A lot of
O-line.
There's
There's just a lot of O-line in
Yeah,
general.
I know. And a lot of teams need O-line. So
And,
that's why we've just been taking.
cornerbacks too. There hasn't been a cornerback touched in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got some guys, I think. We got some guys who have a lot of talent. I don't know where I was
He was
going.
thinking, guys. He was buffering a little bit, but
I don't know where I was going with that one, but we got same thing.
all right, who's up? Who's picks next?
All right, I got the Eagles. Sadly,
Alright.
I hate the Eagles, but I got to pick, and I feel like they would have to go with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah.
He's just an absolute stud at the cornerback position, and Slay is getting old, and James Bradbury is just not good anymore. I feel like
Nah,
he's
I
just
get that.
trash. But he is 0 touchdowns allowed on 1,200 coverage snaps. And he was first team All-American and first team All-SEC 2 years.
You say 0 touchdowns allowed
Yes.
on 1,200 snaps?
Coverage snaps.
Oh, coverage snaps.
So, but that's
Andy's
still,
an insane return, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just crazy. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think Jase was talking about it earlier. I think he's gonna fill that number 1 spot, right? Like perfectly for them.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because you got Slay who's just gonna teach him how to
Mhm.
become. Slay was number 1 for how many years?
Yeah,
One-
Slay's a seasoned vet there. And
so I feel like that'll be great for them and great for him.
he's a great guy to
sadly.
learn behind.
Yeah.
I like that pick a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with the 23rd pick, remember this pick got traded from the Minnesota Vikings to the Arizona Cardinals. So this is one of 3 first-round picks after that trade, 11, 23, and 27, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
They're going to reinforce their offensive line a bit here. Troy, offensive tackle out of Washington. I don't even want to try that. Anybody want to try that last
was
name?
waiting for it.
Fatunu.
Fatunu?
This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Fatunu kind of sounds right.
Nah, it doesn't. But
Fautanu.
yeah, I think
Fautanu?
I think that's the pick here.
That's pretty good, right?
I think he's gone way too long undrafted. I think in the real draft, I don't think he's lasting this long. He's another guy who can play all 5 O-line positions if needed. I think he's might be even more versatile than Fuaga. He can really play every spot on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And he's a great prospect, really explosive. He's a good pass pro. He's just moves people off of the What?
No, you're right. No,
He
you're right.
moved-
I just
he-
like the way you said it. He just moves people.
He moves people. He
Moves.
He's a force. But yeah, I think that's a pick here. I think keep reinforcing their offensive line, keep protecting Kyler Murray. I think the Arizona Cardinals might have a little under the radar season.
Yeah.
I think they're coached pretty well, and
Well,
I think this is a step in the right direction.
I think giving up that, what was it, number 4 pick is good for them.
Yeah, I think that's perfect
'cause,
for them.
They really don't need like someone of that tier right now. I mean, maybe a wide receiver, like that's a good, but I feel like that
but
offensive line also needs to buff up. So
Yeah. But
getting 2 picks and being able to get 2 offensive lines.
To
is
be
crazy.
honest, I think it will take more. I think this trade we just did for the mock draft. It's first round mock. We're not really worrying too much
Diving
about the
into it,
future or
yeah.
anything about this. I think if this Vikings trade does happen, I think the Vikings send a first, their 11th pick, their 23rd pick, and a future first
yeah.
for next year, and then the Cardinals will give up the 4th overall and probably like a 4th rounder.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take 3 first-round picks, and after seeing what the Chicago Bears just did, I don't
Yeah.
know how you don't do that.
Well, do you think Jay Jetta stays in?
Yes,
You think he
he's not
stays?
going anywhere. They're going to give him whatever he wants. I think he'll be the first, or he'll be the highest-paid wide receiver ever,
I agree.
most guaranteed money,
I think it'd be stupid
most money.
For them to
I think he gets.
Yeah.
because all the talk of him going to the
He's not getting. He's not
to the
getting.
Bengals. I mean, that would be great, a reunion.
Yeah,
But
that's- it would be sick.
It's not gonna happen.
No, it's not, but it'd be really sick.
Everyone wants it to happen, but it
Yeah.
won't happen.
Talk
Yeah.
is talk. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think he stays home. But yeah, I think right here. Wait, what are we talking about?
We're back to the pick.
The pick, yeah. So
Sorry, I took you off track. I just figured I'd throw something in there.
I don't know.
Yeah. No,
It's been a long 2 days.
We had a 6 a.m. this morning, so
Yeah,
we're
We were
still
6
low
a.m.
sleep.
this morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. the last 2 days. I didn't get the text that the 6 a.m. got moved back 30 minutes.
Oh, dude, come on, bro.
I got to the field.
Why is the lights on? No one's home.
I got to the field at 5:40 or 5:25.
Lights didn't even come on till 6.
I was out there on the field just sitting in the dark all alone.
That's sad.
That must be sick.
Questioning life. And I was questioning who I was going to pick, actually.
I
was
would have
still-
taken a nap. I would have sat
yeah.
and taken a nap.
I was
in
still in
my car.
bed, cuddled up in my covers,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I wish. So,
I would just went home.
Jay Jettas. So go back to Jay Jettas. He's not going anywhere. They're going to give him whatever contract he wants. And me and Renzo were talking about this in past weeks. He is quarterback proof. Whoever they get, whether it's, I think they let Sam Darnold play a year and then get J.J. McCarthy worked in. I think that's the best route for them.
I feel like J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold are pretty much the same
Yeah, but
person.
no.
I don't. I kind of.
I think Sam Darnold's one of those guys where he shouldn't have played right away.
Yeah.
And he was on Carolina and the Jets. Like,
yeah.
you can only expect so much
I
of
mean, who did he have? DJ Moore.
Was he on
That's
the
what they-
Niners too?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
He
was
was
for a year as a
Yeah.
backup.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
really
yeah.
counting that.
No, yeah, I know, I get that. I'm just
But I
saying.
think he learned a lot.
Yeah.
So, off to the next pick. We got Jase at number 24 with the Cowboys.
The 24th pick, the Cowboys. I got him picking the cornerback out of Clemson, Nate Wiggins.
Yep.
They just let Stephon
Yeah.
Gilmore go.
Makes too much sense.
Trayvon Diggs is coming off his, I believe, ACL.
Something
He
like
might, I
that.
don't even think he's going to
ACL
be
or
ready for the
Achilles.
season.
He's
Yeah.
not.
I don't think he's.
Who?
Nate Wiggins
Diggs.
is a good fit.
Yeah, he might be ready. He
got-
tore that early, right?
I thought it was
Yeah.
in the middle of the season.
I
wasn't
think
it?
it was in the middle.
It was early on.
He'll be back.
I mean, but it's
I
still
mean,
ACL. You're never.
Nate
coming
Wiggins
back.
ran
Yeah,
a
that's
4.28
hard.
40. I
That's-
mean,
Yeah, that's
he
nuts.
can fly. He's got
That's-
good hands.
That's crazy.
The only thing is he does have a slight slim frame.
yeah.
He has been knocked for his tackling, but he showed improvements this year.
Dallas loves their cornerbacks too.
Yeah, they
love
do.
having good
love
corners.
it.
I think Latham, if he's here, might be the pick too because they're just so desperate for offensive tackles after letting go of their guy for the last 15 years or whatever it is. But I can't get mad at the Nate Wiggins pick here just because of how much talent he has.
All right, I'll take the 25th pick here with the Packers, and I have to say I'm so happy none of you guys took him. I'm very happy that he's still here on the
Chop?
board. No, not Chop.
Brian?
I'm taking Brian Thomas Jr.,
Okay.
wide receiver out of
Oh.
LSU. I think this gives Jordan Love another weapon, another much-needed weapon.
Another one.
He's got Christian Watson. He's got Musgrave back there. They just got Josh Jacobs.
I think they got a lot of wide receivers on this team.
I think they have a lot of wide receivers,
They're
but I
really
feel
young,
like
too.
yeah, they're young.
They got
and
a lot
so
of
is
really
Jordan Love.
good young
A lot of them
ones.
are young, and I kind of love it. And I kind of love and like Love is so underrated. I think he doesn't get the no pun here,
No, I
but the
think-
love he deserves. But I think he's a great quarterback, and I think adding like Christian Watson, he kind of balled out a little bit towards the end last year. But I feel like adding that Brian Thomas Jr., he's 6'3", 209. Like, this is a big dude. He runs a 4.33 40. Like,
He catches anything.
yeah, he's huge. And I feel like having that on the other side of Christian Watson, who's not so big, but he's quick, he's fast, he's got good hands. Brian Thomas Jr. on the other side, he's bigger, he's still fast, he catches everything. That straight line speed and big size takes him into top position on go routes. He's got great length and burst to run down and secure potential overthrows. Like, this guy, I think he's the man, and I'm so happy. And he's
Yeah.
the hypothetical draft here. He's going to the Packers.
he
Well,
definitely can develop into that wide receiver one.
And that offensive, just like that, they got the best probably running back core. I mean, that quarterback
Yeah.
is just going to develop even better. What? Okay, sorry, Lions. I forgot about the Lions. All right, my bad,
They
my
just
bad.
have Josh Jacobs.
I love Josh Jacobs, though.
Who's their backup? What's his name?
A.J. Dillon, who scored 2
I love
touchdowns
Dillon.
total
Okay,
last
but he's
year.
still good.
He's still good.
He was hurt for a lot of the year.
Sorry. The
he's
Lions are the
he's not
best
RB,
team.
He's not
whatever.
RB1
They run the
material. Just
North.
because you're a Lions fan, you have two
They run the
RB1s.
North.
Just because you have two RB1s on your
Jahmyr
team,
Gibbs.
bro, doesn't mean every other team is gonna have two RB1s, bro.
The only
That's all
th-
I'm saying.
The only thing I see about this pick is I'm a big Packers fan. I'd say they're one of my favorite teams. They got a lot of wide receivers who are very young. Like Wicks, Reed, Doubs, and Watson are all in their first 2 years and are all shown they can play. So you might be crowding it, but at the same time, you never know how good.
I feel like
Brian Thomas could
is gonna,
get.
just going to dominate this
but there's
room.
also still tackles you could be taking. I mean, I stuff like that.
only
But
thing-
it isn't a bad pick.
Brian
No.
Thomas is a completely different wide receiver than the
Yeah.
other guys.
Yeah, than
That's
what
what
they
I
have.
mean.
He
I
gives
agree.
them that versatility.
Well, he's
where
big. They
It's
don't have
that
a big.
difference.
They don't have
Yeah,
a
they
big
don't have
wide
that
receiver.
big
They
dominant.
have speed guys.
Yeah.
They need that dominance on the outside, and I feel like that's what it's giving them.
Yeah, they got that X receiver. I agree. He's at 26.
That is me. Another weird pick. I feel like I don't really know exactly what they need, but left on the board, I feel like they want that tackle, Tyler Guyton. I don't know how to say it.
Guyton?
The guy
Tyler
from
Guyton?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Another great tackle. He was 0 sacks allowed on 335 pass blocking snaps, and like that's just crazy. Like another no sacks allowed. He is very shifty. He is very well rounded. They said he's a big guy too, which is really good. He runs a 5'1" 40 for a lineman. Is really absurd.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but I
kinda
feel like
nice.
that's just a pick. Like what they give. I mean, it says here running back, but I don't think they need a running back.
Who?
The
Nah.
Bucks.
I really
like
like White. I think he's a very good running back. Especially if Baker Mayfield knew how to check down the ball, he'd have insane receiving stats because he is a great pass catcher.
Yeah. And I feel like it says tight end as well, but there's no tight ends left. I mean, I feel like the only tight end worth going one here is Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
There's
that's
no one
clear
else
cut.
that's enough to be able to make you want to pick him at one.
So I'm here at 27 with the Arizona Cardinals. I am lost right now. I am split between three guys, and this is a hard pick. I think the Cardinals have a lot of needs, but I feel like, honestly, edge. We got an edge rusher earlier with Dallas Turner, who's going to be great for them. We got an offensive guard tackle in Troy. I'm not even going to say his last name. So now I'm really debating between a wide receiver and getting Johnny Newton. I feel like Johnny Newton is the guy to go get here, just to reinforce that D-line. Bring in two new guys who are going to be great players for them and really bolster that defensive line to make them a force to be reckoned with down the road.
Can I interrupt you real quick? Apparently
Yeah.
there was an earthquake that just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents were
I heard
texting me
about
about
that.
it. They
Yeah,
felt
everyone's
it.
just
I
texting.
didn't want to interrupt, but I
Yeah,
just
my
thought that was.
par-
I
my
got a
parents
text from
in
my
Connecticut.
girlfriend saying there was an earthquake. And
We're in the lockdown shelter here.
Capone text. It was just the Pacers shaking in their boots.
Yeah. I didn't. Did you guys feel it?
I didn't.
I didn't feel
I was
it.
having
no.
too much of a grand time.
My parents
here.
were telling me it was like in Jersey and like that I'm closer to it. I'm like, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, my sister said her whole building shook for like 15 seconds, and she's only on the second floor now, but it's in the middle of New York City. So
That's a little scary.
yeah, but I don't know. We're having too good of a time here. Nothing shakes these vibes.
I just thought it was Jase. I thought it was Jase moving around over here.
I thought he got up from his chair.
yeah.
Big man rumbles.
Big guys over here.
All right, who's next?
28,
It's
Jase
me.
Fowler.
The Bills are depleted at their wide receiver core, so I'm going to pick
My mom just texted me.
Troy Franklin from
Okay.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a big wide receiver. He's got great hands. He can go get the ball. He's exactly what Josh Allen needs. He's a wide receiver that can go up and catch bad passes and can get down the field with ease. He's almost a mix of Gabe Davis with his size, but he can run routes like Stephon. He's versatile. He can run almost any route. It's a solid pick for the Bills.
Yeah, they need to fill that wide receiver group, being that there's wide receiver one right now is Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs
I
gone.
love Curtis Samuel.
I like him too, but I
He's
mean,
a good number 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, but he needs some help.
Yeah.
You also have Kincaid there, which helps too, but I feel like they do need to fill that wide receiver one slot.
Yes.
I feel like that's
So-
a good pick.
Do you think we have some other wide receivers on the board, Coleman, Mitchell, Worthy. Do you think he is better than those others, or do you think he fits the Buffalo Bills play style and Josh Allen, what he wants to do more?
I think Troy Franklin's better than Worthy and Keon Coleman. I don't like Keon Coleman.
Because I can see Worthy being a good fit with Josh Allen wanting to air it out.
I see Coleman being a straight, only can go routes and fades. He's a big body, the diva. Worthy, he has good hands. He's fast. But I like Franklin better. I think he's just got it.
Yeah, that
He's
makes
got a better
sense.
frame for the offense. He fits better, and I think he's overall a better talent.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick. All right, am I up with the 29th?
Yep. This
Sure,
round,
dude.
this is our final
Yeah,
four picks of the
this
first
is
round.
my last pick. This is my last pick. So
Lions.
Jase is getting excited here because this is the Lions pick. But I was thinking about going wide receiver, but I'm actually not going to. I'm going to go Marshawn Nealand, D-line from Western Michigan. 6'3", 267 pounds, runs a 4.75 40. I think this guy's a beast. I think he's a little underrated, but I kind of like it. He runs well and has enough agility to fluidly change directions. He's got heavy hands and makes that initial contact count. I think he's going to be a great offset for Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. I think both of them are going to go crazy. I think having a strong duo on that D-line is so crucial for some teams. Not all teams sometimes they'll have one all-star on the D-line. Like, that's great. But having two and having them come from like both sides or one on the edge and one in the middle, I feel like
agree.
that's so crucial, and I feel like that's so huge, and it just adds another layer of something that the O-line needs to worry about when they already have so much to worry about. So I feel like adding Marshawn Nealand here, I feel like is a great addition for the Detroit Lions. Jase, how do you feel about that?
No Chop Robinson?
That's what I was thinking.
I
I was
was
like,
thinking
Chop.
Chop.
I think he
too.
would. I think he would compare really well with Hutchinson.
I was thinking
Just
Chop
both of
too.
them
I'm
coming
not
off
gonna
the
lie,
edge.
but I'm not gonna lie here. I kind of forgot about him because I thought he would have been taken by now. So I'm gonna.
Wow.
And I don't really. I
Wow.
have the
Change
list
the
here.
pick. Change
I
the
have
pick.
a list here of Marshawn Nealand. I got all my notes for Nealand right here, and I don't have any for Chop because I didn't think Chop was gonna fall this far. I thought he was gonna be
Change the
taken.
pick.
You want me to
Bring
go
it
to
back.
Chop?
No,
you want me to go to Chop?
no,
You made the
That's what I
made the
thought.
pick.
All right, yeah. All right.
I
Whatever,
will
man.
give it to
Whatever.
you. He does look like a good prospect.
He
A guy
does.
who could
He
line up
does.
well. And the Lions can develop guys. So
Yeah, they can.
who's taking us home? Who's taking the next pick? Number 30,
I got
Justice.
it. It is the Ravens. Getting rid of OBJ, I feel like they're gonna need a wide receiver, and there's some decent wide receivers left. I'm stuck between Ladd and Roman Wilson, but I feel like Roman Wilson will fit better with them. I think he's a good wide receiver. I think he's gonna pair well with Zay Flowers, and then you have,
He's from Michigan, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I feel like Ladd McConkey is more of a slot tight end. Not tight end, slot receiver. And
He's
they already-
from. That's the one from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
just
the-
making sure
yeah.
I got all these names right.
But he's the I feel like he's a better slot. He kind of reminds me of Wes Welker. Ladd
Roman?
McConkey. No, Ladd.
Oh,
What were you gonna say, Jase?
I was going to say a Cole Beasley type.
that it too. I feel
Yeah, I
like they're
could see
all
that.
the same though. I
Yeah.
feel like they're all just
They're
slot,
kinda
little
similar.
slot receivers.
Yeah, you didn't like Adonai Mitchell or something?
I didn't know he was on the board.
Yeah, he's still on the board. I was gonna take him with the Lions, and I switched to Nealand, but
I don't know. I like Wilson a lot though.
yeah, I like him too. I like him too. I
yeah.
like him a
I
lot.
think it's.
Michigan
I
fan, what do you
don't know
say?
if he's gonna get into the first round, but I can't hate on the pick.
Mm-mm.
I really like Coleman, Mitchell, and Worthy more, but you guys made my pick really hard at 31. should I go the?
You got the Niners.
Yeah, I got the.
There's still some good cornerbacks. I feel like.
I feel okay.
Just
So
let Chase Young walk, too.
the biggest thing the 49ers need is an offensive tackle. After that, I'd say corner, and then
Williams is still.
D-line.
Trent Williams didn't retire, right? He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there.
No, but the other side.
Well, yeah.
Other side of the ball.
I want to make sure.
And protecting Purdy and making sure that offensive line stays powerful, getting CMC those running lanes, make him the best running back, help him be the best running back in the league once again is important. I really want to say they're just going to go and trade Brandon Ayuk, and then I'll take Xavier Worthy here to pair. But CJ Latham is too good of a guy to not pick here, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go Latham. This guy, I mean, I thought he would have gone way earlier. He's huge, 6'5", 342. He has a huge frame. He's dense. He's like Jase Fowler dense, man. And he got great length and width, and I mean having that solid anchor that you can push around guys and not get thrown off the ball. Him and Trent Williams, oh my god,
Yeah, that's kinda
together.
crazy.
to
I kinda love
clarify,
that.
it's J.C. Latham, not C.J.
Idiot. Yeah, J.C. Latham. Sorry. But yeah, I think that would make too much sense for them not to take him. So I'm gonna let Jase round it out here with
Super
the
Bowl
Kansas City
champs. Who are the
Chiefs.
Super Bowl champs taking here, Jace?
I'm taking Xavier Worthy.
All right,
out of
there it is.
Texas.
I
Wide
love that.
receiver.
I
Yep.
love that pick.
He's got Tyreek Hill speed. That's what
Mhm.
they need. They need somebody with sure hands. He can make great plays. He can go up and get the ball. Really, it was between him or really
I think it was a wide
Mitchell.
receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the two Texas wide receivers. I chose
Yeah.
Worthy. I think he fits it better. I know they got a Hollywood Brown, but he's on a 1-year deal. He's aging,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he doesn't have the top end speed where he does.
But I mean, if you're also losing Rashi Rice for how he's gonna be,
I don't know.
he's not playing.
Don't know.
The start of the season.
If we pretend he is playing.
I mean, I still think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
You got- that's
They don't
three-
have a third wide receiver.
Either way, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
I think you got to get Mahomes some talent. I think they got a lot of talent on defense. I could also see them going with a corner
Yeah,
here.
Snead sucks that they're losing him.
Yeah, that's
But
But Trent McDuffie's also
Not a
an
good loss,
all-pro.
but-
Yeah.
they draft very well in
Yeah.
the late rounds.
Worthy's a guy. He's not just a straight down the field player or stretch
Yeah.
of field player.
Yeah.
He can run all the routes, and he. I mean, if you want to talk about an impressive combine, it's Xavier Worthy. Just
Yeah.
how fast he is, and still having the ability to run those big overhanging crossing routes and streaks, and he could really run almost any route. That it makes him a very interesting prospect outside of his frame.
He ran a 4.2. He ran a 4.21.
Yeah.
And then on top of that has a 41-inch vertical. That's absurd.
Wild.
what?
The biggest concern is that he's just so small and skinny.
I mean, but look at
His
Devonta
player
Smith.
comp, his
Devonta
player
Smith.
comp
Yeah.
is Devonta Smith.
and he's out there balling as a number 2, putting up 1,000 yards a season.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for our mock draft. All 24 picks.
24.
32 picks.
what?
Jeez.
Still an early morning.
If you want to watch the full podcast with video, check out our YouTube at ChampTalk Pod. Go check out our social medias, both Instagram and TikTok. We're trying to get those big.
Yeah.
ChampTalk Pod. And then we're also on Spotify, just ChampTalk, just audio.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're official,
we're
guys. We're
expanded.
official.
That's
Famous.
Check out Newman Media.
Cool. Can't believe I'm gonna be on Spotify. That's crazy.
Dude, you're going to go
I
famous.
know, right? And it's my birthday.
You guys
That's
are gonna get us
crazy.
famous right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big shout out, birthday boy, Justice Brovero.
Thanks, man.
What are you? 22 now?
22.
Old head, bro.
Nothing to look forward to. I feel like after 21, the next thing is renting a car at 25, and then Social Security.
I don't know. I
65.
get
No.
pretty excited. Man. That sounds pretty exciting.
renting
so.
a car. I can't wait.
Now that's sick. That's what I'm looking forward to in life.
All right. Well,
Um,
are we all set?
yeah, we're all set.
Hey.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah,
we
this
had a
is
great
great.
time.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I
course,
appreciate
bro.
it.
You guys are
Yeah.
welcome back at any time. We're
Maybe.
Champ Talk.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Wow, Renzo. All right, I see how it is.
Renzo with limited ball knowledge.
We're Champ Talk. We're gonna sign out for today. Thank you for listening. This is 98.5 WNUW. Have a great day.
Thank you.